That's freaking sick, dude. Absolutely nailed that. No shot. There's a better one out there. Best intro to exist. Okay. Now, here's what we're getting into. I don't see much out there on YouTube about like actually mixing on headphones. What does that actually look like in the bedroom? Most of the time I see a video on it, or all the videos I've watched on it. It's somewhere in a nice studio, right? And yeah, they use them, but most of the time they're going to reach toward their actual studio monitors and whatnot and use their setup, right? And none of their information is like wrong or bad. I use all of it, but then they don't go in and like show you mixing a track on headphones, right? Most of them go like, okay, yeah, I do this, and then go back and forth between that and the monitor. So I want to go through mixing one of my tracks and go through how I actually did it on these headphones. And what does that actually look like? Let me show you this plugin that you absolutely need. It's, if you're trying to be on a budget on this thing, this is one that is absolutely worth the investment. Okay, so that plugin is Sound ID Reference. Every headphone video out there worth anything talks about it. There's some other ones that Clipper or something. I haven't dabbled into it yet, but this is doing the main work, right? So if you don't know, if you haven't watched those videos, this is the EQ of my headphones, right? Any headphone you have, any listening device you have is going to have add its own character to it, right? So the point while we're mixing is to ideally have a flat response, which is this guy, right? Just that flat target line. So basically what this is doing essentially is, whereas this is high, this is boosted, right? This is taken down. It will bring this down, bring that up, bring this down, so on and so forth, right? With the idea that we end up at that flat target. Now that's cool. It certainly makes it easier as I'm going through making mixing decisions, mainly like volume, panning, things like that, right? Basically just leveling. Okay, anyways. The biggest stuff though, this translation check. You can hear it through Mixcube, right? So it's only really the mids, right? This thing's huge. People go out and buy Mixcubes. You can just click, bam, and it simulates it, right? So it's taking, right, this is about the EQ curve that the Mixcube has, so it puts it on there, right, puts it through your headphones. So it's not the exact same. I thought that's what was going on. You'll be like, dude, this sounds, you'll click on it, you'll listen to it, and you'll be like, this sounds terrible, right? But the way you use this tool is you listen and see, can you hear everything? Does everything sit well in the mix? Is anything really sticking out like crazy? Or does it all sound good through these? So you can go through, you can get through different standard car stereos. What's it going to sound like in AirPods, right? All that. I just realized I was never looking at you guys. We're going to imagine I was and then keep going. What I'll do is I will have Dynamics, there she is, a utility plugin on the master, and I'll just hit it to mono while it's going. So when I do that, now I can check on all those different frequencies of the car, everything, right? And then also put it through mono in those frequencies, so I can really check on the volumes. Those things stack, as things clashing, right? So I'll use that as a check. So that's right there. that stuff is massively important if you're going to get some good quality mixes in your bedroom. Now let's actually get into the track here, because it's a banger, fire, all that. Anyways, Kenny Mason style track. Let's give it a quick little listen. Just give you an idea on where we're actually. No, we're not going to do that. We are going to first listen to the original stems. It's the master of the actual production file. Whatever. Anyways, dude, you freaking get it, dude. So, there you go. That's the original production. Now, I kind of just mixed and leveled within the actual, in the box, for that session, right? And in my headphones. Oh, come on. Sounded great. Fantastic, even. And then slapped a little Ozone 10, if you know, you know. Slapped that on there just so I could go out and check, just to get the general loudness up enough so it sounded decent in the car. And then sounds like trash, right? That to this.
What up, YouTube? Ricky Snort here with a red hot dab.
An even bigger piece than what did I exactly do with this is learning these, right? Where's my friggin' chooch, dude? Give me a chooch rip. What's bigger than anything that I actually did as far as mixing goes, plugins, volume control, all that sort of stuff, is learning these and coming to terms with the fact that when you are done with your mix, and it's going to sound great and translate across different devices, is that it's going to sound like trash. You're gonna be like, dude, what is this? What did I even do? What's I do in the past 4 hours or however long it took you? You gonna wonder. I think that's the biggest problem I had been facing, was that it didn't sound great. it didn't sound very good. I would get done with mixes previously and be like, wow, dude, who even am I? Sign me up, dude. Everybody friggin' pay me. Put me on the Grammys, dog. Maybe not, but I would finish that stuff and be like, yeah, dude, this is sick. This is fantastic. And then, like I said, right, just terrible. So coming to terms with the fact that it's not going to sound good, but learning to know what in here in the box as I'm mixing, right? So what levels, what volumes, where does this stuff sit? I don't want to give hard specifics on what I did, right? If you got these headphones, sure. Maybe I'll make a video like that. How to do it with the Sennheiser 280 HDs or whatever. But the bigger thing is knowing that and being able to understand how it's going to translate despite it not actually sounding how you want it to sound. That was the hardest thing for me to get over. So going through this track in particular, right? I wanted the kick and bass to be there, but it's not the main star, right? But it's definitely freaking there, and it's definitely gonna hit you. I wanted the guitar track that sits over it to just be around everything, man. Just be really warm but clear, right? And sit over the whole beat, just fill in all the nooks and crannies that this drum and bass creates. And it does not quite sound like that when I play it through my headphones. So just playing this mix as is, it doesn't necessarily sound like that. However, every decision I made was with that in mind, right? Knowing a decision was going to translate well to outside of it, right? Outside of the DAW when I actually exported it and put it in the car and put it through my, I got a set of Klipsch bookshelf speakers. When I put it through that, that was also, side note, always a big tell on my mixes. I would play it through that, and even if it sounded good in the car, it wouldn't sound good on those. Now I'm getting both. Sounds good on the phone, sounds good. Right, it's translating. Let's go into some specifics, right? Some examples. Here's a good one. Okay, kick, bass, hitting at 12. If I were to make this sound good in my headphones, right, I would be boosting the crap out of this, dude. I could be nowhere near. Be way up there. I'm like, oh, I can hear it. Right, let's just hit. You're like, oh, I can hear it now. It sounds cool. Stop. Okay. But when I would actually do that, I would actually get it to that sort of level that I liked. It was, way too much. It was blowing out anything I had on master. Let's do another example. Let's do some more examples. Let's talk more examples. Okay, so I'm going to play it. I'm going to describe the way that I'm hearing it through these guys. Now, I'm going to go through this and kind of describe this sounds in my headphones. I'm going to go through and say what sounds like it's missing, even though, right, it actually isn't in that final product, as you heard. So here we go. So, intro. First off, the tag sounds way too loud. Sounds like it's way too loud. That sounds like a much bigger volume transition than I actually want, right? From that low to the high is the reason in these headphones as far as what frequencies are going on. And then as it goes through this, I mean, the kick is nowhere. The bass, nowhere, dude. Sounds really thin. Does not sound like it's hitting. Does not sound like it's knocking. And then this part here, coming up. Yeah, that. I mean, the guitar sounds way too low in frequency. Sounds like it needs a big old high boost, high-end boost. And then the bass, again, same thing. Like, I can hear it, but I'm like, where's the knock? As far as drums go, the tops, those generally sound pretty good, just because of where they sit. However, oftentimes the hi-hats, and they don't as much in this, just because of how I've edited them. I didn't want them to sit as high in the frequencies, but oftentimes those will sound like, oh my gosh, crazy, way too loud in these. And even then, I almost feel like I should be turning it down a little bit, even though I should not be, which is what we're talking about. Okay, so that's the majority of it. As far as what does it practically look like to mix in headphone in your room, because you got to make it work like that. It's I wish I could do this, do that, easy fixes, but it's learning this, which I hadn't really gotten explained to me. So hopefully this makes more sense for you, as I kind of had to figure out what that meant myself. What does it actually mean to know my headphones and know the response? Now I have an awesome teacher, but I didn't ask the question at the time when we were talking about it. And so I was a little lost as far as what does that actually look like, right? And so hopefully this clears that up a little bit, right? Where it's what it actually looks like is, I know this doesn't sound good in my headphones the way it is, but I know the decision I'm making is going to end up with the sound that I do actually want, right? And I know that when I do these things, right, I can get that sound. And that's what the check's for too. You can't only rely on that, because there's plenty of times where I had the app, the setup, and I would check and I'd be like, levels are good, levels are cool, and then it still sounded terrible. So it's important to use all those tools at disposal, and it's going to be some more trial and error, but I promise that if you actually stick to that and work towards that and check and go back and forth and take the time to figure out what those sounds are in here, on here, all that, you'll be a lot closer, that much closer to making some freaking heat, fire, all that. All right, if you're interested in this freaking beat, dude, you're like, I could rap over that, well then freaking please do. It's going to be available on my BeatStars Billy BPM. Billy BPM everywhere. I'm looking over here in the middle, dude. Not at you. Let me look at you. It's Billy BPMs everywhere, dog. Everywhere, dude. Gonna be on my BeatStars and on my site. You can find a calendar to book a one-on-one session with me, dude. If you're interested in both my production services, so we can sit down, make some tunes together, or my mixing and mastering services. Everything's linked down below. Take a look-see, take a gander, feel it out, have a little fun, live a little, okay? And then maybe we'll make some hits, dude. All right, peace, love, sure.